The 13 gold-starred families, they deserve answers. Every single service member that's spent the last 20 years serving in Afghanistan deserve answers. Hundreds of thousands of veterans that are being seen in the VA as we speak deserve answers. Congress deserves answers. We need to know exactly how this all went wrong so that we can ensure that nothing like that ever happens again. Hey everybody, back in Washington, D.C. this week. Just want to give you an update on everything that's happened in Washington, D.C. this week. So, first up, Tuesday morning, we got the latest inflation report. Not surprisingly, it was bad news. Inflation ticked up again to 8.3%, with the cost of groceries up 13.5% for the 17th straight month. Inflation outpaced wages. It means that nobody's paycheck is going as far as it did last year. Nobody's savings are going as far as they did last year. People's Social Security checks, retirement checks, they're not going as far as they did last year. Then just hours later, Joe Biden threw a party in the White House. And what was the occasion? It was the 1-month anniversary of signing one of the biggest BS pieces of legislation ever to be come up with, the Inflation Reduction Act. So the same day that we got more bad news that the American people are struggling to put food on the table, not that we needed a government report to tell us that, he celebrated a law that does what for inflation? It spends $750 billion more dollars, more of your dollars, going to make everything even more expensive. Printing more money, spending more money does not help inflation. It seems like the president has taken a page out of Marie Antoinette's book, Let Them Eat Cake. So I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. This administration's priorities, they're backwards. They're backwards for what Americans have always been. They're backwards for what drives America with strength into the future. And on the House floor this week, there was no legislation that was proposed at all to address the skyrocketing prices. There was no legislation to address the broken supply chain. There wasn't any legislation to unleash domestic energy production so that we can prepare for those that are in northern states that are going to have extremely high energy prices this winter if we don't get natural gas online and things like that. Those things, they weren't done in Washington this week. So while President Biden threw his party, you know what Speaker Pelosi and House Democrats were focused on? You could guess it pretty easily. They were focused on President Donald Trump. They brought back a proposal from the Trump era called the Whistleblower Protection Improvement Act. Now don't be fooled by the name. Just like the Inflation Reduction Act, that doesn't really reduce inflation. The Whistleblower Protection Act, it's not really meant to protect whistleblowers. It's all a political game. It's not about that. It's about empowering the swamp, empowering Washington, D.C. to make sure that D.C. bureaucrats can obstruct Republican administrations, leak confidential information without any consequences. The bill's protections, they're applied to anybody who identifies as a whistleblower, even if they're acting in bad faith. It also makes it more difficult to confirm that government employees who claim whistleblower status are acting with cause, and mandates that taxpayers pay for the attorney fees in that process. So now you're on the hook yet again. That's what we voted on in Washington, D.C. this week, instead of focusing on the issues that matter to our families and to our seniors and to our people that are just trying to go out there and start a business and be entrepreneurs. Democrats spent all of our time playing political games and trying to solidify their own power by growing the swamp. So unfortunately, we saw more of that in the House Foreign Affairs Committee also this week. Now, in the committee this week, Republicans introduced what is known as a resolution of inquiry, or we call it an ROI. Now, this particular ROI, very close to my heart. It would force the Biden administration to turn over all documents related to the withdrawal from Afghanistan, how that was conducted in such a disastrous way that left Americans behind, that saw 13 American service members killed, that saw our allies left behind, billions of dollars of American equipment left behind. We think that you deserve to have that information preserved so we can find out exactly what happened. This shouldn't be a partisan issue. 13 of our service members were killed because of the administration's bad planning, bad strategy, bad tactics. That's directly why they were killed. The Taliban is giving al-Qaeda a safe haven because of the administration's bad planning, bad strategy, and bad tactics. Tens of thousands of our allies stuck in limbo. The list goes on and on. The 13 gold-starred families, they deserve answers. Every single service member that spent the last 20 years serving in Afghanistan deserve answers. Hundreds of thousands of veterans that are being seen in the VA as we speak deserve answers. Congress deserves answers. We need to know exactly how this all went wrong so that we can ensure that nothing like that ever happens again. The Democrats on the committee, they weren't interested in getting those answers. They blocked the ROI, proving that their only priority is protecting Joe Biden from facing the consequences of those actions. Now, we're back in Washington, D.C. There's work that needs to get done. But unfortunately, Speaker Pelosi and her allies, they spent all week playing political games, not trying to make the lives of we the people better. And that's the most frustrating thing to me. When I'm up here in Washington, for me, personally, that's time away from my family. And I want to believe every single day that we're up here, we're not just being busy here, that we're working to fight for you, working to make things better in your life so that we can deal with things like our southern border and inflation and supply chain and things that matter to everybody back home. And when they waste my time, yeah, it's frustrating to me. So I'm going to keep fighting to get things done, to get answers every single day. That much you can count on. And that, I hope you all have a great weekend. I'll look forward to seeing y'all around. Y'all take care. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe. I will be back on YouTube with more exclusive content, so stay tuned.